In this video, I'm going to take you through 7 steps for appealing a long-term disability denial. So after watching this video, you'll have a process you can follow to do your appeal, and you'll have some tips along the way to help improve your chances of success. Let's dive in. Step number 1 is to identify the deadline for your appeal. Nothing else matters in the world of long-term disability if you miss deadlines for getting your application in, or in this case, appealing. So you need to find the deadline for your appeal. Usually that will be written somewhere on the decision letter that you receive from the insurance company. It's usually going to be on the last page in the last paragraph or last few paragraphs. It will indicate either a date by which you have, or it will say 90 days, 60 days, something like that. If it says 90 or 60 days, it will usually count from the date on the letter itself. So what you need to do is identify this deadline, make sure you get it in a calendar, and don't forget it. This can be a disaster if you miss deadlines. Step number 2 is to enforce your employment rights. What this simply means is that when you get a denial from an insurance company, they will also write to your employer and tell the employer that your claim has been denied and that they feel like you're capable of working. Now, some employers will jump on this to try to tell you you must show back by a certain date, or we're going to terminate you from employment, or say that you've quit. How you want to approach this situation, if you do have an aggressive employer, you should be meeting with your doctor and having your doctor confirm in writing that you are not capable of returning to work, that you are going to be appealing this claim, and get that new information into your employer. Upon getting this clarification from your doctor and from you saying that you disagree and are appealing this decision from the long-term disability, most employers will just stop the process and just let things play out. There will be a handful of employers who still continue to be aggressive, and you'll have to deal with them through human rights commissions or possibly wrongful termination or these types of things. Step number 3 is about gathering the documents and information you need to do your appeal. These documents are going to include things like the denial letter. That is the actual letter that you got with the decision on it. That is going to be very important. If you don't already have it, ask for them to send you their decision in writing. Number 2, you want to get your hands on your group benefits booklet that describes the long-term disability benefits. Most people don't have a copy of the policy, but it's enough if you can get the booklet that describes all the benefits. If you have a group plan, this will be the booklet that describes your medical plan and dental and all that. There's usually a section in there on long-term disability. You're going to want to make sure you have that. If you're in a unionized environment, it may be important to have a copy of your collective agreement if that's going to have some impact on your disability claim in appeals. Sometimes it does, so you should, if you're in a union, get the collective agreement that was in force at the time when you went off on disability leave. Finally, you will at some point want to get your family doctor's records, the complete medical file of your family doctor, going back at least 2 years from when your disability started to really impact your work. This isn't something that most people get, but we get it in every case. It's going to be critical to your appeal to have that information. Step number 4 is about identifying what other benefits you might qualify for in the meantime. If you've gotten this denial, that means your benefits have stopped. So you want to figure out, is there anything else that I can be getting in the meantime? A common area where people can get benefits is employment insurance sickness benefits. If you haven't already gotten these earlier on, now's the time that you could apply and possibly get these. They'll last for 15 weeks while you're doing your appeal. It's important to make sure that you start the claim, that your EI claim starts after the date that you got your last long-term disability payment. It can be a mess if they backdate it and there's an overlapping period of when these benefits were being paid for versus your long-term disability. So just keep in mind that if you get EI sickness, make sure that the start date of benefits is after your long-term disability was cut off. Sometimes they'll offer to say, oh, we'll pay you, we can pay it all out now if we use these dates, from months ago, but you're going to want to say, no, don't do that. Because if you do that, I was getting long-term disability then, and it will be an overlap, and I'll have to pay back all the money. The other thing that you might be able to get is sometimes people have creditor disability benefits. This would be disability attached to loans, mortgages, etc. These often get overlooked, so double check to see if you have any of that. And if you do, now's the time to get that claim in. Step number 5 is analyzing the decision letter to identify the reasons for denial. A lot of people start these appeals and they go about it completely wrong. The way a successful lawyer or person doing appeals is going to approach this is by starting at what are the reasons for the denial? What is the insurance company put in writing as the reasons. So you want to take the letter and go through the letter and just put lines under the sections where they're giving reasons for why there was a denial. Then number them 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you find. Sometimes some of the reasons are just repeating the same reason over. So keep an eye. You might want to put 1A and 1B if it's really the same thing. But identify there's usually going to be 2 to 3 reasons in there for why it's been denied. You want to identify those reasons and write them down. Step number 6 is identifying documents you need to get to go against the reasons given for denial. What I suggest you do is actually you should create a table. And in that table, you're going to have 3 columns. The first column is going to be the reason for denial. You're going to write in on the first row, reason for denial, you're going to write in what your reason for denial was. In the next column on the same row, you would put down some ideas on how you might go against refuting that reason or showing that that reason is incorrect. The third column of that first row, you would start to indicate what documents could I get to help refute this reason for denial. Then, of course, you have to go about the process of identifying the potential documents that could refute this reason for denial and then go get those documents. Now, these documents are going to be the best documents are going to be documents created by others, usually medical doctors or other experts. Documents created by you really do not carry a lot of water. They're not going to be given much importance by the insurance company. So you should be focusing on getting documents from health professionals, treatment providers that are working with you. And use those documents to refute the reasons for denial. A common hack that I recommend for people is to take a copy of the letter that you got for denial, underline the areas where there's reasons for denial, number them, and then give that letter to your doctor and say, look, I've underlined where the reasons for denial. Can you write a report addressing those reasons for denial for the insurance company? This is often a better way. In fact, it is a better way than just asking the doctor to write a report to the insurance company without giving them any context or of what's important or what the insurance company's focused on. By giving the denial letter with the sections underlined where the reasons for denial, the doctor has something to work from, and doctors will appreciate it, and you're more likely to get a report from the doctor that addresses the main issues for the insurance company. So when you're doing your little chart to put all of the reasons for denial with the document that's going to prove or refute it, a lot of these documents can be a report from your doctor or other health professional who is speaking directly to the reason for denial in the letter. All right, the last step number 7, is preparing a cover letter for your appeal and sending it in to the insurance company. This part is where people can go wrong. A lot of times there's a lot of nervousness and anxiety around how to write an appeal letter. Now, I'm going to have a whole different video that covers how to write these appeal letters, but for now, let's just talk about it in generality. So you definitely want a cover letter to attach documents that you're sending in with your appeal. This cover letter should indicate that you are appealing the decision, dated whatever. Here are some attached new documents that you're sending in. And then a portion of the letter can deal with you responding to some of the reasons for denial. You want to keep this letter to a professional tone and not make any kind of personal attacks on the people involved from the insurance company's point of view, or to have colorful language of calling them stupid or these types of things. Make sure you keep a professional kind of correspondence, because this is going to be looked at by lawyers and judges later on and will reflect poorly or reflect well on you depending on how you handle this. You also should resist the urge to get into citing legal cases and doing legal type arguments, as that is not going to be effective. So when working on your appeal letter, again, less is more. You do not want to get into legal arguments or making lengthy attacks or personal attacks on the other side. Focus on indicating that this is for the appeal, dated for the decision letter of whatever date. You're going to attach documents. You're going to clarify factual errors or any gaps in information. You will want to indicate any upcoming appointments and that kind of thing. And you can indicate or write in the letter why you feel like some of these reasons for denial are no longer applicable. Again, the reasons have to be that you have this new medical information that goes against what they're saying. Don't be quoting things online or making attacks on the other side. That is something you want to avoid. Now, those are your 7 steps. That's it. We'll have other videos, for example, that go into greater detail on how to write the letter. But if you like this video, Subscribe to our channel so you'll get updates in the future. Please hit that subscribe button, like, so you get the bell notifications, so you'll get notices when these letters come out. Now, if you have more questions about your own appeal, reach out to any of our disability claim consultants for a free consultation. And I hope to see you back here next time. Take care.